Texas, and a great one on tap. Number 21 Houston has won 8 straight matches, and tonight they host the Cyclones of Iowa State inside Fertitta Center. On Wednesday nights, the Longhorns, defending national champion, just one loss in conference. But look at Houston, after a tough start against a very good schedule, they've reeled off 8 straight wins, 1 set dropped in that time, and right behind them, Iowa State. The Cyclones face their 4th straight ranked opponent tonight.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Again, these two teams are very similar, but they're coming off of 2 very different games, right? Iowa State dropped the match to a very good Texas team, had a little bit of inconsistencies. We talked about Gonzalez struggling a little bit, who's normally their solid rock. U of H, on the other hand, has come in and had 8 straight matches that they're winning. They've only continued to climb up the ladder, but it's the end of the season. You never know what's going to happen. If they can stay consistent, they're going to be great.
Here are the starting lineups for these teams. Brandt, Hopp, Duckworth, Engelbrecht, Gonzalez, Krislak, and Stone Street for Iowa State. Sauer, Mbanu, Tullis, Cook, Jackson, Moore, and Georgiadis. 5 fifth-year seniors in the starting lineup for Houston. Annie Cook back to serve. And here we go in set 1. And a good start for the Cyclones. We've seen so many teams come in here and fall behind as Houston goes on a scoring run, but they get an early kill from Maya Duckworth.
Yeah, I think exactly what we expected. It's a perfect pass. They go to the outside, and they convert on that ball. It'd be interesting. It looked like that set was a little bit inside, moving Duckworth around to kind of keep openings in that block.
The Texan serves. A fast offense through the middle with Dylan Morin.
And a little bit of a different look. We said it was going to be a battle of the outsides. You can tell, you can see over there, Iowa State is already leaning, wanting to go to the outside, and the Cougars take advantage of that with Morin.
Morin maybe the most improved on this Houston team from last year. Go back to the left pin, slightly out. On the swing there from Nayeli Gonzalez.
That's a tough angle to hit there. She's definitely going after a big shot.
Here's Sauer back to serve. Houston has such good servers at the top. They start with Cook. Sauer's probably the best statistical server. She goes second. Good touch from Cook. Jackson off the hands.
And that is Houston Cougar volleyball for sure. Nice dig, taking care of that ball. Quick ball out to the pin, and she's able to go high off hands.
McKenna Sauer, twice first-team All-Conference at Texas Tech. In her first year at Houston, serves it too deep, facing Iowa State. She grew up in Ankeny, Iowa, went to Ankeny Centennial High School. Here's the libero back to serve from Olathe, Kansas. She's 1 dig away from 1,000, so we're keeping an eye on that in her career. Tough serve. There's an ace. Really good floating just past the 10-foot line.
I like to call those serves a dropper. They look like they're going to come right at your chest, and at the last minute, they just absolutely fall.
16th ace on the season for the libero, Brooke Stone Street. Averaging 4.3 digs per set. Mbanu. Slow developing slide play, but it's picked up by Georgiadis. There's a block. It's Morin combining with Mbanu.
That's a big swing by Gonzalez, and an even bigger block by Mbanu over on that right side. We'll watch the replay here. She gets right in front of her and takes it.
Coach Rare had a great conversation with us before the match talking about Mbanu. Great serve there from Georgiadis. Cook sets Tullis. And there's a dump there, one-hand pickup. Annie Cook with the kill for Houston.
Looks like Krislak almost got a hand on it, but couldn't quite keep it in system for Iowa State. We talked to Coach. They're definitely finding a little bit more consistency in those off-speed balls. That was something that was really big for the Cyclones. Ooh. Talking about salty serves.
Gorgeous serve from Kate Georgiadis for the ace.
They're definitely picking on Gonzalez in the passing lanes here, trying to get her out of system.
Very common to pick on the 6th rotation star of the other team, give them a bigger workload. A deep serve there from Georgiadis floated on her a little bit. 6-4 Houston as the setter Morgan Brandt goes back to serve. She's from Sumner, Iowa, went to Sumner Fredericksburg High School, described by her head coach Christy Johnson Lynch as fun, bubbly, great personality, and very loud. Good swing from Abby Jackson.
Again, Houston Cougar volleyball there. Great pass, set to the outside, big swing deep to the corner.
There's Morgan Yonda into serve. Great story. Started her career at Sam Houston, played 2 sports, volleyball and track and field. Was very good at Sam Houston, transferred to Houston 2 years ago, and they changed systems to a 6-2 as she joined Annie Cook. Tough serve there, and it's off the tape. And a point for Houston after a tough serve from Yonda. This is a serve that's really emerged in the last few weeks, as Coach Rare says it can be nasty when it's on.
Yeah, and you can see Iowa State spread out in serve receive right now, so Gonzalez is hitting over on the right. Gives a little bit different look, but also with a serve like that, they were a little squished in the corner on that play.
Another tough serve from Yonda. That was fast offense. Now, a point for Iowa State. Almost felt like a dump, but it was met by the middle, and a point for Iowa State.
Yeah, Iowa State trying to find that offensive balance there, setting the middle on that play. It's a great swing, and then Gonzalez goes up with a lot of poise and takes care of that overpass.
First kill for Gonzalez after 3 errors. Good pass from Kenna Sauer. Soft hand Sauer. Angled swing from Jackson. It's a point there for Iowa State, but I think good illustration of the passers for Houston. They're going to move a lot. Kenna Sauer sliding, and a good first touch there in serve receive.
Yeah, definitely. Sauer, that set was a little bit off of the net and out. She went after kind of an aggressive angle there, just didn't quite fall.
Yonda sets Jackson. Roll shot picked up by Gonzalez. Block touch there from Tolis and Corelli.
It's a good job by Duckworth trying to recycle that ball. She didn't quite get the set she wanted. Libero was there to cover it. She just kind of got a little bit too much underneath. Great close from the U of H blockers, though.
Jackson back to serve. Off the tape. That's good from Iowa State. Tough serve to handle, and they immediately terminate.
Yeah, that let serve over the net. You never know where it's going to go. Very surprising that it went right to target, and the middle is ready to go. It's a great play by Iowa State.
You see the Cardinal jersey for the libero. Brooke Stonestreet just picked up her 1,000th career dig. Congratulations to Stonestreet. Corelli right down the line for a kill.
She's got such a heavy arm. That ball is coming fast. It's been cool to watch her improve over the course of the season.
Corelli transfer from Ole Miss. So both the right sides from the transfer portal. Corelli from Ole Miss and Banu from Louisville. Tolis, the 5th-year senior, with the deep serve. That was going out. A mistake that time from Gonzalez, who could not quite get out of the way.
Yeah, it looks like the Cougars are, again, continuing to target her. She hasn't found that consistency that we're used to seeing in games where she kind of comes out big. She struggled a little bit in the beginning, and part of that is the Cougars are just serving the ball at her over and over again.
They continue to serve deep. On Wednesday night against TCU, TCU sets up with a really shallow serve receive, 13 feet or so off the line. They serve deep against TCU. It worked, and they seem to be continuing that game plan tonight against Iowa State. Lily Wachholtz, redshirt freshman from Minnesota, serves. Good pickup from Jackson. Kind of Sauer off the hands. A good block there, a block touch for Iowa State. Jordan Hopp combining with the setter, Morgan Brandt.
Stopping the outside again. This is a battle of the lefts. Anytime you're able to get your hands in front of them, slow them down. to be good.
That's a good serve. We've talked about how good Houston is in serve receive. We've seen some great serves tonight from the Cyclones. There's an ace from Lily Wachholz.
Yeah, that's 2 aces so far for Iowa State. They're definitely serving tough and putting the Cougars in trouble on serve receive.
Good pickup from Jackson. Yonda sets Morin. Up from Georgiadis. Back row attack, slightly in. There was 2 different calls. The official to our right called in, the one to our left on that side of the court called out. It looked very close in real time.
Yeah, usually when you see that happen, it means that it was long. So the sideline judge is not going to see that, but still really valuable to have that back row attack option. Both teams trying to spread it around here.
Kenna Sauer off the block. There's a block. Solo. Maya Duckworth against Corelli.
That's huge. That's huge. I love 5'8" versus 6'1". Anytime that there's a mismatch, we see a big swing. She's coming in hard. She's trying to hit that line shot, but the set's a little bit inside. Duckworth sees it and just takes advantage.
Overpass joust there. Good work from Sauer as she went up against the setter, Morgan Brandt.
It's a good break for the Cougars. Those are those off-speed balls that Iowa State was saying they really need to take care of to be able to be successful in this match. That was a pretty easy roll shot that could have been controlled and really gotten to run the offense. Instead, Cougars have a relatively easy point on that play.
Only 1 set drop during the 8-match winning streak. And won 24 of the last 25 sets. Off there from Jordan Hopp, the senior from Alliance, Nebraska. A small town Alliance, Nebraska. Didn't have as much club experience as some of the Big 12 caliber players, and she's really improved in her time at Iowa State. Continue to go to Jordan Hopp on this right side.
Yeah, it was interesting talking to Coach Johnson Lintz about Hopp and how she's a senior, but this is her first year starting. She kind of laughed and said, you don't really see that anymore. People like to transfer, join the transfer portal if they're not getting their starting spot when they begin, but she's definitely put the work in to earn it. And you can tell with the throw, she's got that big swing. She's working hard, being consistent. She's a big piece of Iowa State having a balanced offense, like Coach talked about earlier this week.
Overpass from Johnson, a kill from Gonzalez. Iowa State leading 15-12.
5 trips to the Sweet 16. Actually coached current UH associate head coach Caitlin Nola Ieni. Speaking of Houston, we have Coach Rare for Houston, recently celebrated his 100th UH win, has 11 conference titles, and was named Coach of the Year in 2019 and 2022. So we have 2 very seasoned coaches here tonight, Matt.
Great stuff, Abby. And you know how important an assistant coach is for a Division I volleyball team. And Nolan Ieni followed Coach Rare to Houston. He was at Arkansas State. She was not, but her first year is 2019 when Rare took over, and he's immediately vaulted this Houston program to unprecedented heights.
Yeah, they've done some really great things for this U of H program, especially going through a conference realignment. All of a sudden you're traveling to different places. All of a sudden you're playing a different style of volleyball, different types of teams that you're not used to. And while they struggled a little bit in the beginning to find their rhythm, they've done nothing but continue to build and grow throughout this season. And part of that is the recruiting. They've got a ton of transfers in this year that have been really key in their success. And they've become one of the better defensive and serve receive teams in the conference. And a huge part of that is Coach Nolan Ieni, who was a libero at Iowa State back in her day.
A 2-time All-American at that. And as Jordan Hopp continues, it feels like Houston has not had the answer for Hopp on the slide in this first set.
Yeah, and again, as a left-heavy team, I'm sure U of H is definitely prepared for that left side. And Hop being able to keep the ball in system so that the Cyclones are able to get this ball over to Hop has been really successful for them so far.
An error from Mbanu. Hop has 3 kills on 4 swings, hitting .750. 7 kills, 5 errors so far tonight for the Cyclones. Houston, 6 kills, 4 errors. Both teams hitting under 100.
Yeah, they've been a little bit inconsistent. The Cougars were hitting pretty efficiently in the first phase of the game and then have dropped, whereas the Cyclones have kind of done the opposite. They were negative in the first phase and now have kind of dug themselves out of a hole.
Back row attack from Kenna Sauer. And all of that starts with the first touch from Georgiadis. We're right here courtside, and that was a really good serve again from Iowa State.
Yes, it was. And honestly, I think one of the factors that the Cougars have over the Cyclones is that back row attack. We have yet to see it from the Cyclones in the past. Oh, there's one, right as I said. But not necessarily as explosive. It's not so much of an offensive option as it's just an outlet. Whereas when you have Sauer in the back row, she's taking big swings. She's a huge offensive option, even when they're out of system in that play.
An error from Jackson. And it's a setter from Sumner, Iowa. Back to serve. Goes deep on Jackson. That's an out-of-system point for the Cougars. Will take that any time. Again, not an ideal first touch from Houston. We're used to them passing in the 2-2, 2-3 range, and not a normal serve-receive game from Houston. A lot of credit should go to the Cyclones with these serves we're seeing.
Yeah, the Cyclones are definitely putting a lot of pressure on the Cougars serve-receive, which honestly not a ton of teams have so far this year in conference. It's been pretty hit and miss, and they've got some really great power back there.
Just in. Best swing tonight from the freshman Nayeli Gonzalez.
I'm excited to watch Gonzalez in her career. She's just a freshman. Again, the ups and downs you typically expect from a freshman, but big swings like that, man, she's going to be so fun to watch every single year of her career.
Knuckling serve that time. Good touch from Sauer. And Tolis terminates. It's a knuckling serve and basically a 3-option pass from Kenna Sauer.
Yeah, when the Cougars do that, they have so many attack options. And Tolis, again, she's another player that this year has just really come into her own, especially towards the end of the season so far. When they have all 3 options, they're so dynamic and have so much potential. But the Cyclones are really putting pressure on them in the serving lanes.
Up from Yonda. Georgiadis sets Kenna Sauer. Sauer off the hands. Georgiadis, 9 assists as the libero on Wednesday against TCU. Provided a good pass there for Sauer.
Yes, we talked to Coach Rare about this, and the stat of assists for a libero. It's almost just as important as assists for the setter, because anytime the setter is going to be out of system, the libero needs to step in.
Good work through the middle. First time we've called her name tonight. Alexis Engelbrecht, the senior from Cary, North Carolina. Tonight's her 82nd career match with the Cyclones. Houston calls time. Houston hasn't faced much adversity really since the Texas matches back-to-back inside Fertitta Center. They've only dropped 1 set since. It was against UCF. And Caitlin Nolan-Ianni just to the right shoulder of David Rett. We mentioned he's been here 5 years, she's been here 5 years, associate head coach, 2-time All-American, and 2-time Big 12 Libero of the Year. We looked at the record book today. First, go to the Big 12 record book. If you have a computer, do Control-Find. Nolan's name will appear 29 times. She is all over the record book, but she has the all-time best digs per set mark, 5.8 digs per set. And we talked with Coach Rare and said, how much has volleyball changed? Because now, if you lead the Big 12 in digs per set, you're around 4.8. She's a full dig per set better with those Iowa State teams from 10 years ago.
Yeah, that stat, kind of like Coach Rare said, that stat it's hard to know because we didn't watch that whole season. Irregardless, it's really stinking impressive. To have 5.8 average, 5.8 digs per set, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. And not just that, when you count a dig per set, it means that we're getting the ball back over the net, right? She's not just putting her platform out there and getting shanked. Like, she's putting a ball in system. She's making that happen. And you can see that that is translated into her coaching, right? We see the defense and the serve receive for the Cougars pretty gnarly. And that happens because you have a libero who understands the defense, understands the serve in your back corner helping you out.
And the development of liberos. Kate Georgiadis was not a libero at TCU. She transfers to Houston. She immediately becomes two-time American Athletic Conference Libero of the Year, one of the best liberos in the country, under the tutelage of the coaching staff here at Houston. Kenna Sauer blocked. Iowa State finding momentum here late in set one. Lily Wachholtz with the block.
We see on that replay, the Cyclone block is just absolutely sitting on Sauer. That ball's a little bit out of system and all the way to the outside. They don't have to do much work to put up a huge block.
Jackson with the back row attack. She finds the seam.
And again, there's that back row attack. So the Iowa State block is already cheated over towards the outside. And now they're not able to get back into the middle and take away that back row attack option. Again, I think it's going to be a huge factor in kind of finding which team is going to find more balance in their offense is that back row attack.
Tolis serves, a kill for Lily Wachholtz. Just combined for the block. Wachholtz gets her first kill on her fourth swing of the night.
Yep, great high swing. That's not a bad block by Sauer. Wachholtz just finds that line, paints it, and gets it deep.
Wachholtz back to serve. Jackson kept it off the floor. Good swing from Kenna Sauer. There's a back row attack. It's just in. The top spin fooled Kate Georgiadis. And you have to give credit to the setter there on the joust against Kenna Sauer. She kept that point alive for Iowa State, and it leads to another Houston timeout.
Yeah, and there again, that back row attack, Georgiadis definitely thought that ball was out. She kind of did a little bit of a matrix move to get out of there. But balancing out that offense, both sides, if they can balance out that offense, especially in the out-of-system play, they're going to have a lot more options versus just chunking it to the outside every time.
The number that stands out to me right now, Carly, is Houston's hitting percentage, 121. I think that is a huge byproduct of the Iowa State serve. We've seen Houston consistently in the last few weeks hit above 200, mostly above 250, above 300, hitting well below their average, I think, is they're not getting the kind of passing they're accustomed to in serve receive.
Yeah, definitely. Anytime you're going to be out of system, you're going to be off balance, it's going to be difficult for you to score and a lot easier for you to error. So I think for this point, looking at the stats at this point, it's more being difficult to score. Again, we talked to Coach Johnson Lynch earlier. The off-speed shots are something that's really important for her team to pick up. They've really been harping on this week. When you're out of system, you typically hit an off-speed shot. So if the Cyclones can continue to keep them out of system and then take advantage of an off-speed shot or the ability for the block to just go camp out on the outside, it's going to be really difficult for the Cougars to score consistently.
Iowa State has a 23-19 lead here in set one. Lily Wachholtz, redshirt freshman, went to Meyer Lutheran, Waconia, Minnesota. Her coach, Christy Johnson-Lynch, told us she's just starting to scratch the surface, injured last year, and they had to develop her arm. Jackson roll shot from the back row. Another kill from Maya Duckworth. Again, it starts with a really good serve from Iowa State.
Yeah, putting the Cyclones in a position where they can have that balanced offense and they're ready to set all three positions. Makes it difficult on the Cougars defense.
Set point. Morin is blocked. What a run to end set one for Iowa State. As Jordan Hopp combines with Maya Duckworth. They fell behind early, but the Cyclones rally to take set one inside Fertitta Center. A 4-0 scoring run delivers a set one victory.
1983. I mean, how crazy is that? all the girls on the court tonight weren't even born yet. So who knows? 2 different teams tonight. Iowa State might get this one.
Good stuff. Before Christy Johnson-Lynch took over in her 19th year, this was a moribund program before she took over nearly 20 years ago, and she's completely turned it around. They've won 2/3 of their matches in the Big 12 since she took over. They really struggled in this league before, and 15 NCAA tournament trips in 18 years really says it all.
Yes, definitely does. I mean, anyone who can have sustained success in this day and age with all of the transfer portal coming in, now all of the conference realignments that have happened. Big 12 has been a solid conference year after year, but it's a conference that's changed a lot, especially in the last couple years. And she's able to find that formula to put a good team out on the floor no matter what.
High praise for Caitlin Nolan-Ianni, who is the 2-time All-American, 2-time Big 12 Libero of the Year in 2014 and 15. We mentioned the 5.8 digs per set. The year before, she was at 5.74. It wasn't a one-year fluke. Basically, 2 straight years of more than 5.7 digs per set for the current Houston assistant coach, Caitlin Nolan-Ianni, under Christy Johnson-Lynch's tutelage. And Coach Rare talked about the motivations when you're playing teams like this. Kenna Sauer, who he's talking to right there from Ankeny, Iowa, she wants to beat a school from her home state. Caitlin is facing her former coach for the first time tonight, and it's those little margins you can try to find for extra motivation.
Yeah, especially at this phase of the season, when you're tired, frankly. Finding any sort of motivation to really keep the fire hot and keep going is going to be important. And you can see the way that Coach Nolan-Ianni interacts with her players. They care about her. She cares about them. It's big for them to get this win for Coach. It's huge for them to get this win for Coach. They understand it's a huge deal for her, and they want to battle for her in this match.
After taking set 1, Iowa State first serve in set 2. Johnson, good first pass. Morin is blocked. The block really working tonight for Iowa State, as Georgiadis goes into the padding.
I know we talked about this game being an outside heavy match, but really the story of success has been with the middles and the right sides. The Cougars haven't quite been able to get their middles and right sides involved. We got a double called on the Cougs.
A double touch on Annie Cook. And this block is somewhat surprising. Iowa State came in with 2 blocks per set, 10th out of 13 teams in the Big 12. They're a team that does pretty much everything well. Don't have a glaring weakness, but blocking is not something that they're known for. They're showing that, and Annie Cook responds after the double. How about that from a setter? A double followed by a dump for a point.
I love that. Love that fire, saying, I know. Watch this. And you can see the Cyclones are not expecting it at all. You're talking about the Cyclones block. I think that's another factor of the serve-receive pressure. If they only have one option to set, unlike this, all right, great pass from the Cyclones. They've got 3 options. It's hard to know where to go. It's hard to know where to close that block. And again, story of the middles and right sides on the Cyclone side, all of their middles and right sides are outperforming their outsides. It's flipped on the Coug side.
Another good serve. Cook sets Mbanu off the hands for a kill. Nena Mbanu, 7 kills, hit over 300 on Wednesday against TCU. She's been peaking at the right time late in this Big 12 season. And as Coach Rare told us, she's a real goofball, a real big personality, real fun. And early on, maybe trying to be too serious, trying to be professional. And at some point, the coaches and her teammates said, hey, you can be yourself. You can have fun out there. We need that personality. And he said maybe after the Texas match thereabouts, she started to be herself and bringing that effervescent personality to the court, that big smile that you know. And she's taken off, and it's brought just a good demeanor to this Houston team.
Yeah, definitely. Anytime a player tries to play outside of themselves, it's typically going to take them down. So it's been fun to see her blossom here and just find some joy in the game.
Iowa State finding a lot of joy They trailed in that first set. Something changed for the Cyclones late in the set, and they've carried that momentum into set 2, leading 5-2.
Again, I think the story is with their middles and right sides. That we have got Hop hitting 833 with no errors and Engelbrecht hitting 429 with 0 errors. They're playing clean and aggressive.
High hands there from Abby Jackson, her 5th kill in these first 2 sets.
It's a nice pass from the Cougs, allowing them to run that crossing play. We'll see that outside comes inside, middle runs a 3. Block isn't quite there. She's able to go high off hands.
Morgan Yonda back to serve. Just in. Georgiadis thought it was out. Off the hand of Nayeli Gonzalez.
Out of system play, but Gonzalez still gets a big step close, very controlled swing to the back corner. She saw it immediately. She knew they were going to try and call it out. She pointed in.
5th kill on 10 swings for Gonzalez. And there's a block, no cover. Houston completely out of sorts there. There's a back row attack. No cover from the pins. And an easy point for the Cyclones.
Yeah, that out of system passing. Again, Sowers, that ball set behind her head and a little bit low. She doesn't have much to do with it.
Float serve. Sauer correctly reads it out. Service error for Morgan Brandt. And now Abby Jackson goes back to serve. A top 10 in the country currently for career aces. Also top 10 career kills for the 5th-year senior from Gig Harbor, Washington. Houston continues to go deep. A few of these floating. Now 4 service errors for the Cougars.
Yeah, that's a tough break. After getting stuck in a serve-receive rotation, then missing that first service ball, that hurts a little bit. I know she wants that one back.
Yonda for Sauer right down the line.
And Jackson responds after that service error. That's a perfect pass. Again, setting up that outside. Even though they're going outside heavy on that perfect pass, the Cyclones' middle stays true, which means Sauer's got so much space up there to swing.
Tolas serves. Nice dig from Rachel Tolas. Roll shot from Jackson, slightly soft. Again, a high bar has been set by Houston. 8 matches in a row they've won, dropping only 1 set. Just looking like a different team here tonight after such a resounding win over TCU on Wednesday.
Yeah, look, I think, again, it's stemming from the serve-receive. Typically, they're a very, very, very good serve-receive team, and they've struggled to control the first contact.
Katie Corelli, high hands that time. That one seemed like it was going out. It's a freshman back there, Gonzalez. It's a very fast sport. You have to make those decisions in the blink of an eye.
Yeah. It's a great replay. You can see it's not that heavy of a swing. In the past, you've seen Corelli hit that ball down the line. If you remember in the first set, she was hitting a heavy ball down the line and got stuffed by Duckworth. She definitely controls that a little bit more to find that cross-court open piece, and it pays off.
Into the net there from Iowa State and Lily Wachholtz. Cook back to serve. She's been a part of many serving runs this season. Annie Cook, College Park High School in the Woodlands. Was the setter of the year in spring of 21 in the American, and then deferred to the coaching staff and decided to play a 6-2 with the addition of Morgan Yonda. That's an error, good offense. Just slightly out on the sideline here from Lily Wachholtz.
Now, the Cyclones are still handling this serve pretty decently, but there's the inconsistency in their attacking that's kind of peeking out. We've seen earlier this year, too.
Up from Cook. Georgiadis sets Sauer. The foot of Sauer keeps it off the floor. And right through the hands, off-speed shot effective there. Another kill for Lily Wachholtz.
That was such an awkward, you could see, we'll see if we can find it on the replay. First of all, what an up from Sauer with the back foot, but such an awkward angle. Look, she comes all the way in, realizes everyone's loading on her cross shot, hits that roll to line.
Good up from Cook.
Great out-of-system set.
Sauer, a lot of swings on this point. And it's off the block for another kill. Frustration mounting for Houston. You had full throttle swings there for Kenna Sauer.
Yeah, that out-of-system set, I think by Jackson and then Sauer to come up and take a big swing, that was huge. But then the Cyclones just doing absolutely everything they can to keep the ball off the court and continuing to find their middles and right sides. So again, typically an outside heavy team, which is probably something that the Cougars prepared for, going away from those classic.
And another point for the Cyclones. Good joust there. She's been strong at the net. She's a 6-foot setter, and she is strong in these joust moments for Iowa State.
Yeah, I think that ball, it looks like they called Brant on a double on that ball. So point goes over to the Cougars. Still, like you said, big and strong on that attack.
That's a big call. It would have been a 3-0 scoring run there for Iowa State. Oh, really good disguise that time. She sold the whole gym. Maya Duckworth acting like she'd swing heavy, then just a tip.
Yeah, again, we haven't seen them set their outsides as much as we thought they would. And instead of going in that typical super heavy ball, she's got a big block in front of her. She sees it and takes care of the ball high over the block.
Back to Jackson off the hands. Slide play again. The block just a little bit late tonight for Houston.
And Hop is on fire. She has taken 10 swings, and out of those 10 swings, she's had 7 kills and no errors.
Timeout Houston. Iowa State took set 1, 25-19. We'll try Abby a little later for more on the Cyclones. They're leading 13-9 here in set 2. Iowa State hitting 277. Houston has the best opponent's hitting percentage. If you look at conference-only stats, Houston is number 1, 176. So a night that is not gone according to plan so far for Houston. As the serve from Duckworth and Banu off the block touch. And there's a really good dump. She's having a really good night. The sophomore from Iowa, Morgan Brandt. She's been strong at the net, and that time, no block, and she decided to dump.
Yeah, again, they're in system, taking care of this ball. The middle from Houston doesn't even jump on that ball. They're not even ready for it. They've got 3 attackers up.
Jackson high hands for her 6th kill. Snaps a 3-0 scoring run.
You see they're fired up after this timeout. They know they need to get their offense cooking right now. They've struggled at this first ball, but at the same time, they've got some power on the outside. They can really score even if it's not the perfect ball.
Off the block, another kill. Jordan Hop, you mentioned, sensational form. 8 kills on 11 swings, no errors.
Yeah, she's definitely a hot hand for this match. And if Iowa State can continue to be in system, they can continue to set her and get score after score after score. She's just producing at such a high level right now.
Well, Coach told us that against Texas was the best she's ever seen her play. She's continued that tonight, but Rachel Tolis responds for the Cougars.
Again, as soon as the Cougars get a perfect pass, they score almost immediately on that serve receive. Their serve receive right now, we've kicked it up to 50%, but before the break, they were down in the 40s. Typically, they're pretty good with that 65 to 70% on the side out percentage. It just goes to show they've really struggled with this first ball contact so far this match.
Deep serve Yonda. Tip picked up by Jackson. Corelli found the back corner.
That's a little more like the Houston we know, taking care of that off-speed ball, getting a nice set back, and she's able to have this heavy arm. Again, she's definitely made the adjustment. The first 2 sets, she was going after line, getting dug or blocked. She controls that ball deep cross.
Yonda for Tolis. Just out, no touch.
Still a good transition from the Cougars. I love to see that. They're taking care of that ball. It's a great run by Tolis. They're just out by a hair. She's avoiding that block as she sees Engelbrecht diving in front of her. Not a bad play there, but Cougars definitely need to clean it up a little bit.
Jackson first contact. A little bick there off speed from Kenna Sauer. And there's a block. Nayeli Gonzalez, the freshman, against Katie Corelli.
Yeah, again, this out-of-system play, the blockers are able to come camp out over here on Corelli. We'll see them move over. And that's a big block. Didn't quite get all the way across like she has the last couple plays.
Tip there from Jackson, well picked up by the Cyclones. Sauer asked for it from the back row. Good touch from Duckworth. Out to Jackson. Block touch, Iowa State. Jackson again, another block touch. Third time hits the line from Jackson. Tough read in the back row for Duckworth. And it hits the baseline.
Jackson struggled to find her rhythm so far in this match, but she's continuing to swing. Love to see that confidence. Continues to swing with confidence and finds that line on that roll shot, just making the play.
Jackson serves. Good pass from Duckworth. Sauer with the stuff. She asked for it. She's a player that, with her team down a few points, wants the load on her shoulders.
That was a great block or dig to transition play. She comes off, takes that set with her hands, and gets back far enough that she's able to transition. It's a little bit faster of a ball inside because she's not transitioning as much, but that's a lot of work. To come in and pick up the tip and get a big swing out of it, it's very impressive.
Off the hands there from Lily Wachholtz. Her third kill this evening. Iowa State against the best opponent's hitting percentage in Big 12 play. Houston is hitting over 290 now.
375 in this current set.
Georgiadis with the first touch. Sauer full swing. It was a tight set. She still went with the full swing, but it was touched. It is a point for Kenna Sauer and the Cougars.
Yeah, it's an out-of-system set. It's a great bump set from this setter there. And Sauer is athletic enough. She can step close into that ball and still take that big high swing, even if it's a little bit off, if it's high enough that she's got time to get there.
Up from Corelli. High flying, nice dig from the middle blocker, Rachel Tolis.
She's had a couple so far tonight.
That's a big point for Houston. It's the fifth-year middle, not known for digs, more known for blocks. Huge touch there for Houston.
Tolos absolutely made that play with that dig, keeping the ball alive. There's always so much energy that comes from a middle digging a ball because typically they do not spend a lot of time back there. It translates into a big swing.
High hands, Jackson for Yonda. Kenna Sauer. She wants every pass right now.
Yeah, she's all about it. She's going after the defensive ball in that first play. She wants the set. She's taking big swings. Look at that big transition coming out. Finds a swing. Again, they take care of that first ball. Means that they have multiple options and they're able to beat up the Cyclones block.
And there's a block from Kenna Sauer. 4 straight points for Houston.
Building some momentum. You see all of that energy coming up. They find that right side again. That is a solo from Sauer. And you can see she comes up there. Her hands are so far over the net. She's ready to take that ball away.
Kenna Sauer, businesslike as we see the coaches. You know, she's a fifth-year senior. She's done it before, twice first-team all-conference. She really could have gone anywhere in the country with her pedigree. I think she saw Houston Sweet 16 last year. Going to the Big 12, she knows the conference, but just her demeanor and competitiveness, she is not messing around, not waiting her turn. She has kind of willed Houston back in here in set 2.
She's such a fun player to watch. One of my favorite things about her is that she will take big rips no matter what. Like typically you'll see a player with a set that's behind them and an outside, and they kind of take something off of it, be a little bit controlled. She, by sheer force of will, somehow will take a ball that's upside down behind her head all over it and still take a huge rip that's going into the court or into someone's hand. She's so fun to watch because she's so fiery in that way. And not only is she fiery, like I said, she's able to actually convert. Like, she can put her money where her mouth is, as we've seen, and she can just do such fun things from all positions on the court.
Some words here from Coach Rare. But this 4-0 scoring run has been the Kenna Sauer show with some help from her teammates. A few kills plus the block. And we'll see how Iowa State adjusts. Maybe they shift more of that block over to Kenna Sauer's side. We see Christy Johnson-Lynch right now talking with her setter. The setter is a big part of the block, deciding when to go and when to stay.
Yeah, I think this story of the match, this phase of the set, has been the first ball contact for Houston, along with the serves from Tullis, for sure.
You know, to be frank, Engelbrecht did not really seem ready for that. She's standing in the front row off to the side. It snuck up on her. An ace for Tullis, and Houston leads 19-18.
Yeah, typically as a middle in that rotation, you're not expected to pass, but can definitely sneak up on you quickly. Great dig.
Yonda kept it off the floor. Test your mic.
Test one, two. There we go. Now we're back.
Tip there.
John, you got
from
me?
Sauer. Off the floor from Morin. Jackson setting. A stuff there from Kenna Sauer, kept up by Iowa State. And then off the block, a kill for the Cyclones. Maya Duckworth snaps a 5-0 scoring run for Houston.
What a rally. They are sucking air, especially Kenna Sauer. She took so many swings in that rotation. She's breathing hard. She's taking big swings in that rotation. Again, the Cyclones just kind of doing everything they can to stay alive, and then takes advantage of a block that's a little bit tired, a little bit off the net.
Yonda dumping. She doesn't do it as much as Annie Cook will, but they've become best friends in this 6-2 system, and a little bit of Annie Cook there from Yonda.
It's a great choice from Yonda. Again, they've been pumping that ball out to Kenna Sauer. They're ready for that ball to happen. Cyclones are ready to dig a big rip, and instead we make the decision to put that ball over on the middle of the court. Definitely something they're not expecting.
2019 as Cook serves. Slide play again, the right side, effective all night for the Cyclones. Lily Wachholtz with another kill.
Two good balls put up by the Cyclones. Defense on that first touch. Off speed, they're able to get it over there. It's a pretty good block by the Cougars, but Wachholtz just had the time to see the block and go for it.
That's a fatigued point there, I would say, an ace, where maybe early in the match they pick it up, they're all breathing heavy, and off the tape, no one there for Houston, an ace for Wachholtz.
Houston came out of that last timeout with a ton of fire. So that's a lot of energy to try and keep up.
There was an overpass that time, and Banu tried to keep it out of the nets, and timeout Houston.
It's like a little bit of miscommunication on that play. I think Mbanu thought that the block touched it, and so they had a couple more touches, and the rest of the team didn't necessarily think that was the case. It's hard to tell from this angle, but again, they came out of the last time out so fiery and have kind of seemed to deflate a little bit, getting a little bit tired. We'll see how they come out of this next time out.
Iowa State playing its 4th straight ranked opponent. They took a set off Texas. It's a tough road trip. They said they've enjoyed this. A few Texans on the team. You normally, to one city and back, they've had to cover the southeast portion of the state. But 4th straight match against a ranked opponent. You look back at their last few, they had a really good battle with Kansas, number 14 in the country. They beat them in 5 at home the first night, lost in 5 the next. They go to Texas, lose in 4. They lead 1-0. The 4th straight really competitive match for Iowa State.
Yeah, definitely a tough phase of the season for Iowa State, especially. We've talked about the youth that they have on their outsides, that they rely on so much with a sophomore Duckworth and the freshman Gonzalez. Anytime you're coming from being a freshman to now being in college, your season is a little bit longer. State finals here in Texas are happening this weekend, so they're already done. Whereas Iowa State is facing down the likes of Kansas and Texas and U of H, all ranked opponents, and still have a couple more games until they can even make it to the NCAA tournament. So definitely a lot of fatigue. It can be fatiguing on your team's camaraderie and your chemistry as well. But it looks like the Cyclones have really found a good gel this part of the season.
A service error coming out of the timeout. Snaps a 3-0 scoring run. Kenna Sauer back to serve, an excellent server.
We'll see Sauer really brought a lot of fire to the front row for the Cougars. So we'll see how they handle if Jackson can bring some similar fire now that she's in the front row.
Quick offense there, shades of Houston's offense. They run the slide again for Jordan Hopp. She has been unstoppable. 9 kills on 13 swings.
Yeah, she's leading the Cyclones right now. And she's not just leading the Cyclones, she's running an A, she's running a slide, she's running a 1, she's running a 3. She's all over the place. And the Cyclones have been able to be in system enough that they can put her wherever they want. Great pickup on the dump.
And Banu Morin.
That's set up by a big swing by Banu. Duckworth barely gets under it, and Morin takes advantage and puts up onto the floor.
Georgiana serves. Right through the block. She was off the net. Still a heavy arm from Nayeli Gonzalez.
It's a good out-of-system swing. Not necessarily her hardest swing, but she took a little bit off it, was in control, and still put it in a great place on that sideline.
Set point in set 2 for Iowa State. Brooke Stonestreet, the libero, serves. Tough serve.
Another great out-of-system set from Georgiadis. That's a tough thing to do.
Tolis kept it alive. That looked like it was Iowa State's point, but Tolis found a soft spot just past the 10-foot line.
Yes, that's a lot of strength and balance in the net. She's basically jumping up and spinning around and trying to find that ball while still staying out of the net and getting the ball back into the court. A lot of strength, a lot of balance, a lot of core strength takes from Tolis to make that play happen.
Morgan Yonda back to serve. And it's ended by the freshman from San Antonio, Nayeli Gonzalez, one of her best swings tonight. And Iowa State has come into Fertitta Center against one of the hot teams in the Big 12, and they've taken the first 2 sets.
Yeah, again, we've talked about the Cougars are typically #1 in the Big 12 for opponent hitting percentage, and that's just not been the case here in this match tonight. The Cyclones are figuring out how to take care of the first ball and hitting .351 in that last set, .294 over the whole match, compared to .177 on the Cougars side. The way that that's happened for the Cyclones is that they found balance in the outside, in their middles and their right sides, able to score.
9 kills on 13 swings for Jordan Hopp. Nayeli Gonzalez, 7 kills on 14 swings. And Iowa State has been in a lot of tight matches as of late. They've taken the first 2 sets inside Fertitta Center, 25-19 and 25 to middles and right side. Somewhat surprising for Iowa State how effective they've been. Both these teams rely mostly on their outside hitters.
Yeah, we talked to Coach Johnson Lynch, and one of the things that she really wanted to see from her team is balance offensively, and we've seen that. They've been able to set all of their players and not only rely on that outside, and the Cougars just haven't necessarily come up with an answer for the middles and the right side. They've done a really great job against Gonzalez and Duckworth, slowing them down, but haven't quite had an answer for the more sped up shots or shots over on the right side. Cougars, on the other hand, definitely found a little bit more fire in that last set, the last phase of that last set, but unable to close it out. They still are relying super heavily on their outsides, on Sauer and on Jackson, to be able to convert. They haven't been able to take care of the first touch as well as they typically do. Typically, we see a very good first touch from the Cougars, which is making them a little bit more one-dimensional than they typically are. So the story, as we say, we thought it was going to be a battle of the lefts. It looks like it's a battle of the lefts on the Cougs, but for the Cyclones, it's more of a battle with the middles and the rights. So it'll be interesting to see if the Cougars can come out with the same fire they did after in the middle of that last set.
Here are the stats: kills dead even, assists slight advantage for Iowa State. Hitting percentage, a big difference. I think one thing that stands out, coach of Iowa State, Christy Johnson-Lynch, told us we have to find a way to slow down their hitters and make them a little more predictable. They have been somewhat predictable. Houston's taken 79 swings tonight. 45 of those, more than half, have been from Kenneth Sauer and Abby Jackson. They've really shut down the middle and right side of Houston's offense.
And I think that's a function of their serve as well. They're just not able to take care of the first ball. Iowa State continues to put a ton of pressure on the Cougars, which makes them one-dimensional. It makes them just a single competitor, and so the Cyclones are able to take advantage and slow down when they know where the ball is going.
Houston has not been in many five-setters. They would need to win in 5 tonight to accomplish that. Their only 5-set match in conference play was a 5-set loss at Kansas early in conference play. Iowa State went 5 sets against Kansas very recently, last weekend. Won the first one in 5, lost the last in 5. But this Iowa State team came into town, had to travel from Austin yesterday, had a chance to do some sightseeing. At this time of year, you can't practice that much. Everyone's exhausted. But the team that you would think would be more road weary has come in and taken the first 2 sets. Deep serve from Morgan Yonda is out. And Iowa State jumps in front in set 3.
That's a deep miss by Yonda. Just not characteristic of the Cougars team.
Jackson first touch. A good defensive positioning there from Iowa State. And it's a point for the Cougars, who was into the tape there from Maya Duckworth.
It looks like they're calling no touch there for Maya Duckworth again. Ball's a little bit crazy, a little bit out of system. Maya's just not able to get on top of it.
Good serve, Jackson. But Iowa State stays in system, and another kill there for Jordan Hopp. We've seen her do most of her work from the right side. That one came through the middle, her 10th kill on 14 swings.
Yeah, they just have not come up with an answer for Jordan Hopp. She's been able to just eat up the block, hit any set that she wants, and the Cougars just haven't had a way to stop her.
Was it touched? It was not. Another tough serve. Jackson had to reach for it on the first contact.
Yeah, that was a pretty impressive one arm out of system set. You could see on her face she was surprised that that ball went as well as it did off of a ricochet pass there. Looks like we're going to get a challenge, that there was a touch.
Houston has challenged the call on the court. Play is under review.
It's an early challenge. It also gives Houston a chance to kind of reassemble a little bit. Seems like they came out a little jittery. Serve going very long to start. Hopefully this pause will let them settle down and settle into their routine here.
Some adversity for Houston for the first time in a long time. They had Texas here, record crowd, largest ever for a women's sporting event at U of H. And in the third set, leading 1-1, they had a 21-18 lead in set 3, a chance to go up 2-1 against the Longhorns. They lost that, and then lost the 4th set. Texas came back, swept them the next day, but it's been a vengeance tour since for Houston, winning every match since, all 8, dropping 1 set at that time. And it was touch. It's a point for Houston. So now down 2-0. First time they've trailed in any match since that Texas weekend nearly a month ago.
Yeah, we'll see how they handle with this adversity. Tilla's going back to serve right now. She had a great serving run against the Cyclones in that second set. If they can find this lead and find their rhythm a little bit earlier than they have in the last couple of sets, I think it gives them a good chance to take this match to 5.
And that's just a moment where they've been so good with the back row attacks. That time a little bit off. Roll shot for Kanazawa. We saw so many tips and roll shots against TCU on Wednesday from Jackson and Sauer. Iowa State's been really good picking those up, but not this time from Sauer.
Yeah, I mean, talking to Coach Christy Johnson, that's definitely a part of her game plan. You can see they're right there. Sauer's just able to sneak it past them.
Overpass off the serve. There's another joust one. I've been so impressed. She does not look like a setter when she goes for these joust balls. Another win against a taller player for Morgan Brandt, the setter.
She's just so strong. You can see she gets up and shoves that ball down past another strong player, Kanazawa, but she's got so much poise, you're right, up there at the block.
I mean, those are those 50-50 points that are going Iowa State's way. Kellen Morin finds the back row. Morgan Brandt, 3 kills on 6 swings plus 24 assists. Those are the fine margins in a match like this.
Definitely. And again, getting that ball to their middle, balancing out that offense a little bit for the Cougars. Morin's able to take advantage of it.
Annie Cook back to serve. Float serve, and it's an ace for Annie Cook.
That's what they're looking for. It looks like a little bit of a miscommunication between Gonzalez and Kaischlak. Not quite sure until the very last minute who's going to take that ball, putting a little bit of a pressure on the freshman.
19 aces on the season for Cook. She had 36 aces last year. It's a really good serve again, overpass. And back-to-back points for the Cougars.
Then we talk about, again, those 50-50 points. There's a couple of 50-50 points that finally go the Cougars' way. Banu has to take a little bit off. She sees that block in front of her face. And the Cyclones just not taking care of a fairly easy ball.
3 straight points for the Cougars leads to a timeout for Iowa State. A good one inside Fertitta Center. 6-3 Houston. Set 3 inside Fertitta Center. And Ayala Gonzalez, 4 times the Big 12 Rookie of the Week this year, most by far in the conference. She had 31 kills against Kansas in that 5-set win, most by a freshman in program history. And the first Cyclone since 2008 with 30 or more kills. That's 15 years, and it's a true freshman from San Antonio. Cook serves. Gonzalez, deep swing and well read by Georgiadis. 4 straight points for the Cougars.
That ball's a little bit behind her head. She still takes a big rep and can't quite get it in. Gonzalez has been absolutely nothing but impressive to me. Even, you know, swings like that, she's out of system, it's behind her head, she's still taking a rip. That confidence is so important for a freshman.
Good first touch, she goes back and drops the hammer. That's really good. You have to have a short memory in volleyball. She did just that after the air. She gets another kill.
The Cougars have definitely picked on her in the passing lanes as well, and we can see even in that play there, she handles it very well. It's not perfect every single time, but a 2-ball is all you need to really keep your system going.
A tool there, Morin off the hands. Kellen Morin may be the most improved on the team, as she has really taken a leap from last year to this. One of the best in the conference in terms of hitting percentage and blocks.
Up until this set, she really hadn't been set very many times and hasn't been super effective, but the last 3 swings she's taken have been really great in-system swings and able to get a tool. Great dig by Georgiadis.
And Banu, nice pickup by Stone Street. Block touch there for Morin. Down the line, no touch. It's a point for Houston. Good
presence at the net from Morin. And we see Wacholtz trying to go for high hands, trying to tool out there, didn't quite get it.
Oh, she was hunting that back corner, just a bit off.
It's like maybe trying to be a little bit too perfect, getting the very last inch of that corner and missing just a little bit.
Nayeli Gonzalez back to serve. What's a Cornerstone Christian in San Antonio. Oh, nice work from Mbano. It wasn't the best set of the night from Annie Cook, but Mbano just dinks it over the net.
You see, it's very tight. So it's almost like a dance move. I don't know how she got that ball over the net. Sometimes the weird plays are the plays that score, though. A lot of poise from Mbano to just get that ball over the net and give herself a chance.
Morgan Brandt, the sophomore setter, talking with the up official after that point. Joni Havens is our up referee. Richard Blow is the down official. Janice Presley and Bryce Estes are our line judges this evening, as Christy Johnson-Lynch looks on in her 19th season at Iowa State. Another block touch from Tolis. Another block touch from Rachel Tolis. But a point for Iowa State.
Great coverage from Stone Street, just behind everybody. It gives your hitter so much confidence to know that the whole team is behind you, keeping the ball alive, whether or not you hit a perfect swing or not. They're doing everything to keep the ball over the net.
Deep serve from Engelbrecht. Jackson off the hands. Sauer back row attack.
You can see this crowd gets behind Sauer when she takes a swing. She's got a lot of energy, but dang, this crowd gets loud. There's not a ton of people here tonight, but after that swing, it's pretty deafening.
There's a good mix of fans for both sides. There's a few Texans on this Iowa State team. There's a big traveling party with the Cyclones. And back to the right side again. No answer by and large for Houston for the right side of Iowa State. That time Lily Wacholtz with another good swing.
Been really impressed with Brandt. She's coming off 1 foot, pushed over to the right side and behind the 10-foot line, and she still is setting this right side ball with tempo. Great placement.
Jackson right through the block. We've seen that combination so many times this year. Jackson or Sauer with the first touch. Georgiadis with the touch out of system, and then the other outside with the kill.
Yes, both Jackson and Sauer are so good at that quick transition, and the Cougars run their system to allow them to do that so that they don't have to get all the way out. They can set a little bit inside. It's a really fast ball that's hard for blockers to track and easy for them to beat it up. Again with hop.
What are you seeing from the Houston block on the right side? I mean, these are not heavy swings. It just seems like it's late consistently at the right antenna.
Well, again, when that ball is in system, so you see Brandt is moving forward, which typically means trying to get this ball out to the slide behind her head at tempo is really difficult. It was a big swing by Sauer. Brandt, again, pushing that ball back behind at tempo is really difficult. So the middle, Tulos isn't expecting her to get it all the way back there, and she's able to. We see on this one, though, great pass, sets Sauer up perfectly to be able to bang that ball down the line.
Good serve from Tolis. Through the middle. There was no touch. It's a point for Houston. So what you're saying is Morgan Brandt, the setter for Iowa State, she's disguising where she's going really well, and Houston has to wait, and by the time they get out to the pin, it's too late.
I'm not sure if disguising is the right way to put it. She's just so strong, she can kind of set wherever she wants.
Overpass, there's another joust, and she did the job again. Brandt going up against the middle, and that's another point. Give the point to Brandt. She wins that joust, keeps it alive for her team, and they get the point.
She's done so much for this Cyclones team this match. She's been a huge factor at the net there. Not quite.
I mean, she went 1-on-2 there next to 6'4" Kellen Moore and Kenna Sauer, and the setter wins the joust. And there's a service error there from Stone Street. Well, that was part of the optimism for Iowa State and Christy Johnson-Lynch entering her 19th year. She said, I knew we'd be young, but we had a really good libero in Brooke Stone Street coming back and a really good setter in Morgan Brandt. You can do a lot with those two positions.
Yes, definitely. And Morgan Brandt is very, very dynamic. Again, she can set wherever she wants because she's so strong, and her location this match has been pretty great.
She goes back to Nayeli Gonzalez. Double-digit kills now for Gonzalez.
These deep corner shots have been working for the Cyclones. The Cougars' defense is sucked in a little bit. It gives them so much space to swing in that backcourt.
Brandt back to serve. Float serve is out. McKenna Sauer back to serve. Facing a team from her home state of Iowa. McKenna Sauer, two-time first-team All-Big 12 pick at Texas Tech before transferring to Houston for this season. Off the shoulder or face of Georgiadis. And Sauer into the net from the back row.
I mean, again, a fantastic out-of-system set from Brandt in a scramble play, setting Gonzalez up.
Gonzalez back to serve. And Banu high hands. Good read from Georgiadis. Just out. As they went back to Lily Wachholtz at the right pit.
Seeing a couple more errors from the Cyclones than we have the rest of the match, a couple in a row, giving the Cougars some easy breathing room here in this third set.
A rare angled swing from a right pin tonight for Iowa State, but just as effective from Lily Wachholtz. 7 kills on 17 swings for the redshirt freshman from Minnesota. Engelbrecht back to serve. 4th year at Iowa State. Into the nets. A few service errors late in set 3 here for Iowa State.
Yeah, I think service errors and a couple of attacking errors that have kind of just been a tough time for the Cyclones. They just can't battle back, and the Cougars are doing a great job of staying consistent and holding on to their lead.
Morgan Yonda back to serve. Another angled swing. The right side has been pay dirt tonight for Iowa State. That's Lily Wachholtz once again.
She hasn't been extremely efficient so far this match, but she's gotten 18 swings, and every swing has been heavy. She's finding that corner. This match has been pretty effective.
Good read from Kenna Sauer. That was slicing towards the back corner. That's 3 service errors in the last 4 serves for Iowa State.
Yeah, momentum killers, every single one of them. 1 service error, all right, it's a tough serve. Good job, we keep going. But 3 in a row after battling a team like the Cougars, it's going to be really difficult for them to dig themselves out of this hole.
Jackson serves. That's a really good dump. And you see the technique. She's a big outside. Nayeli Gonzalez, 6'2", but she moved her lower body in serve receive and put it on a platter for her setter.
Yeah, great angle. And again, when you have that perfect set, you have a perfect pass, and you've got 3 attacking options, it's just tough for the block to figure out where it's going.
There's Rachel Tolis.
Talk about a fast transition there. That pass got to the setter quick, and Tolis followed it in and was ready, and she just had all of the court to be able to swing. You see it comes fast off there. Hop is diving over to the corner, and Tolis takes advantage, hits it back across her shoulders.
A deep serve there from Tolis. Off the hand, a kill there for Maya Duckworth. Now, Maya Duckworth from Hearst, Texas, went to Birdville High School. First word for her in the description from Christy Johnson-Lynch, her head coach: competitiveness, undersized, a 5'8" outside in the Big 12. You don't see too many of those.
No, definitely not. It was fun talking to Coach about her, saying in any single drill, she knows all of the rules and will be the first person to tell you if the score is wrong. So love to see just kind of that baller attitude there. Couldn't quite come up with that dig. That's a great shot down the line, that 116 from Sauer. Looks like the Cyclones block gave her a little bit more than she probably should have, allowing her to get into that seam.
21-5 foreign trips, Carly. How much can they help a team?
Yes, I daylight as a coach's wife, so was able to have the chance to go to Brazil with our Rice Owls in the summer, and it is one of the most amazing and unique things to see how well the team gets along. It's such an amazing time away, such a great experience for these young women to go out and experience a new culture, understand something new, and not only are you learning together, with that you're bonding together. The volleyball is super fun. It's very different style than what you see in the US, and so learning through that and also learning things not about volleyball can be a huge gel.
A good point out of the timeout for Iowa State. And Banu is limping. She went into the stands, and Coach Herr talked about her effort on points like these. Plays she has no chance of getting. Here she goes into the second row.
Yeah, she barely even looks down. She makes that decision. She's going to go after that ball no matter what.
It brings a smile to Coach Herr's face a lot. How reckless she is in a good way. And a good read again. It's another untimely service error. That's 5 in this set for the Cyclones.
Really killing their momentum with these service errors here for the Cyclones.
Sauer back to serve. And sometimes the ball just goes your way off the forearms of Sauer, and a point for Houston.
Yeah, Cyclones unable to take this easy ball and convert, but Sauer's just standing in the right spot with her arms out and makes the play. Sometimes defense is just stand in the right spot, get hit.
And that would have been a kill for Nayeli Gonzalez if it doesn't go Houston's way. Gonzalez back to serve at 23-17. Graduated early from high school in San Antonio to enroll early at Iowa State. Was there a touch? Kellen Morin insists it was touch. This will be challenged here by Coach Herr.
It looks like the whole team was pretty confident there was a touch on that ball. We can't quite see it from our angle, but if anyone on the Cougars sideline is to be believed, there definitely was a touch. We'll look at this replay here.
The previous swing from kind of Sauer, some of the highlights of this one, maybe the left hand there. Alexis Engelbrecht, the senior middle. So this is a question where I'll put you on the spot a bit, but what has turned for Houston? How are they hitting .455 as a team in set 3?
They just cleaned up their errors, I think is a huge part of it. They're not necessarily killing the ball more, but they're taking care of the ball a little bit better. And part of that is definitely the first ball contact. They've been in system a lot more this set than they have any of the other sets, which means the set location is better, gives the hitters a better chance with the block. There's a touch on that ball. It allows them to spread it around. Morin with that kill. It really was not set in the first 2 sets very much at all. And in this set, because the Cougars have been able to take care of their first contact, they've been able to move it around and be more effective.
Successful challenge, now a set point with Kate Georgiadis for Houston. That's a really tough play to stop. They run it basically like a slide play coming out of the middle, and Engelbrecht gets the kill.
Yeah, again, we see that that's a short pass, so it's quick. And then Brandt does a great job of setting that middle at tempo, mid-system.
Tolis, good effort right to our left, but Houston forces a 4th set. Rachel Tolis with her 5th kill of the night, and a good response from the Cougars, down 2-0. They win 25-18.
Yes, that last set looks much more like the Cougars that we know. Their first ball contact way more consistent, just opening up everything else on their offense, being more consistent with their defense, putting this ball in system. Again, it just takes so much pressure off of the rest of the team when you're able to take that first ball and take care of it on the first contact.
Iowa State leading 2-1. The Cougars hit 5:65 to take set 3. Don't go anywhere. A good one here inside Fertitta Center. Iowa State up 2-1. Kansas has been a lot of 5-setters this year, putting back-to-back 5-setters against Iowa State. Here, Iowa State fell behind early and cruised to a first set victory. Set 2 was very tight, and Houston could not overtake the Cyclones, a 25-23 win. Dominant set 3 for Houston, and the numbers are so even. Both coaches said we're similar. The stats are nearly identical. Iowa State with 2 more kills, errors the same, service errors about the same, digs +4 for Iowa State.
I think the key has been when these stats are happening. So for Iowa State, they had half of their service errors in that last set, and all right in a row. It's very hard to score any points if you keep missing the ball in the net or way out of bounds on your serve receive. Unable to continue with that side out percentage. At the same time, when Iowa State was increasing their errors, the Cougars found more rhythm in their offense. Before that last set, they were not hitting well at all. And then that last set, they hit over 500. So the combination of those two things makes for a dominant set for the Cougars. We'll see who comes out with fire in this set.
Here we go in set 4. First serve there from Brandt. Tip there from Tolis. And Corelli first to react. They think she was over the net. Vocal are the Cyclones in their disagreement. What did you see at the net here from Rachel Tolis?
Looks like they're arguing that she was over the net on that block there, but that's a judgment call, so it can't be challenged. It's difficult for us to see right here. It's behind the ref at this point, but she's got the best view to be able to make that call.
Kill for Katie Corelli. Now Jackson serves. Block touch from Tolis. Another block touch, Houston. Sauer. Corelli, and Iowa State was into the net. Back-to-back points for Houston, as Lily Wachholtz went up for the block that time.
Great block touches by Tolis, slowing it down and giving the Houston Cougars defense a chance. Oh, you can see Wachholtz wants that ball back. She's just a little too aggressive, a little too into it to get that block, and falls in the net.
Too much on the serve from Jackson. We're seeing Rare a lot point to his chest a lot after these errors, taking the blame, it seems, for maybe his call on where he wants his team to serve.
I'm not sure what the movement is. I'm not going to try and guess, but if that is the case, he's definitely calling tough angles, going after the team, being really aggressive about their serving in the back row.
Service errors continue to prove costly for Iowa State. That's 9 now in the match. Nearly all of them coming in the last 2 sets. Here's Tolis to serve. Good up from Yonda. That's a nice dig from the setter, kind of like a Taekwondo technique to keep it out.
Yeah, I like to call that the tomahawk. You just throw your hands up and try and not get hit in the face. She does a great job of putting that ball high in the middle to allow Morin to get it over the net.
That's a good tip. It all starts with the first touch from Nayeli Gonzalez. She is so good in the back row with her passing. And then a touch from Maya Duckworth.
Yeah, and Sauer is sitting all the way back on that sideline. There was no way she was going to be able to come in and get that tip. Duckworth with a really smart play.
Duckworth, 6 kills on 20 swings, hitting .250. That's a good float serve. And there's an ace from Annie Hatch, 5th-year senior. We haven't mentioned her much tonight, but she's been around the program a long time. Her 113th career match, and described as the sweetest soul by her head coach, Christy Johnson-Lynch. Yonda picks up the tip. Good scrambling from both teams. And Jackson from the back row.
There's a lot of balls tight to the net for that entire series there. So yeah, all blockers on all sides have been up and ready to go. A lot of just kind of scramble plays trying to get it over the net. That's a lot of work from Morin. Blocking on one side, touching the ball on the other, hitting the ball on the other. And a good swing from the back row to capitalize.
Annie Cook back to serve. Up from Cook. Kellen Morin from Annie Cook.
Good quick transition. Georgiadis takes care of that ball to put it in system. Morin does the work to get up. She's able to take advantage. And it all starts honestly with a nice block touch to slow that ball down so they can be in system.
Back to the slide. Kept up by Cook. Sometimes you stop the slide with efforts like that. That is a setter picking up the dig, and we talk to the coaches. They'll sometimes joke, it's nice to see them not play dodgeball.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Looks like sometimes just standing there and getting hit is the way to go. But keeping this ball in system to be able to put your team on offense is definitely much better.
Kenna Sauer is blocked, heavy swing, and Iowa State is fired up after that block. Lily Wachholtz and Jordan Hawk combine.
Yeah, again, a lot of plays at the net, kind of scramble plays on both sides. But if you see Mbanu's all the way over there, the blockers know she's not going to be able to get back, and they're able to have a solid block.
Good up from Gonzalez. Hammer drop by Kenna Sauer. Catching her breath after her 14th kill.
Yeah, those plays where you get blocked and have to transition back and attack again, they're exhausting because you don't have the normal time just to take a little bit of a breath while the other team has the ball. You have to be consistently on the net, off the net, on the net, off the net. She does a good job keeping her poise and converting a ball. And then sending a nice serve over the net to convert there too.
There's an ace for Kenna Sauer. Statistically, the best server on the team, and that's saying a lot because Annie Cook's a great server. Abby Jackson's an excellent server. Kate Georgiadis, also a very good server. You have 4 elite servers on this Houston team. And a point for Houston. I would also add Morgan Yonda in the mix as well as an excellent server. And that's how they can go on these scoring runs. And now it's a 6-point lead and a timeout for Iowa State. Houston on a 3-0 scoring run has fought back, trailing 2-0. They win set 3. They lead set 4, 10-4. Matt Peterson with the former Tulsa middle blocker, Carly Klanik. Houston hitting .235, Carly, and Iowa State really struggling. Just 1 kill on 16 swings here in set 4.
Yeah, hitting -62 for the Cyclones. They are definitely helping out the Cougs, and the Cougs have done a much better job at staying consistent and transitioning quickly to get the ball up. Now, there's a transition from the Cyclones here. Again, Hop all night has been unstoppable. Morin's almost where she needs to be, but that ball's just coming so fast. Hop has a split still.
Serve from Duckworth. Kellen Morin heating up here in sets 3 and 4.
She's definitely been an X factor for the Cougars in set 3 and 4. She's done the work to transition hard and taking big swings, which has taken the pressure off of Jackson and Sauer, allowing them to spread out their offense a little bit more and making it more difficult for the Cyclone defense to handle the Cougars.
Georgiada serves. Deep dump that time from Brandt. Jackson through the hands. 10 kills, 8 digs tonight for Abby Jackson.
Yeah, again, these last 2 sets, they've been able to spread it around. It's a great dig by Sauer, setting up a 3-hitter system, and Jackson's able to ping-pong it through the block.
Knuckling serve, Georgiadis. Slide play, block touch. High hands that time. And another kill for Gonzalez.
It's a great swing by Gonzalez. A decent out-of-system set. She goes high hands down the line. It's a tough ball to dig.
Been very impressed tonight with the libero, Brooke Stone Street. 11 digs. Rachel Toles, more fast offense for Houston. It's been a huge turnaround in serve receive for Houston since falling behind 2-0.
Yeah, I think the first 2 sets, just so much uncharacteristic inconsistency in that serve receive pattern, in every serve receive pattern. Every rotation they struggled in the first 2 sets, and they've really turned it around, and the middles have taken advantage of it. They have definitely capitalized and been converting at a high level.
Overpass, there's another stuff from Brandt. And there is an unstoppable swing from Kenna Sauer out of the back row.
That ball is set up beautifully by Jonda. She is all the way up in the top right of the court. Let's see if we can take it again. She's all the way up here. She sets behind her head at tempo to be able to have Sauer hit a bick out of the back row.
Oh, and a good response. Naeli Gonzalez. After the swing from the 5th-year senior Kenna Sauer, it's the true freshman Gonzalez with the answer for Iowa State.
I think we can echo Coach Johnson Lynch's words. She is just coming into the player that she's able to be. That's a great, tough shot. And as a freshman, to be able to come up and respond with that, give yourself and your team some momentum, and then able to capitalize off this serve here. Very well done by Gonzalez.
An ace from Morgan Brandt, and then an error. 1 step forward, 1 step back in serve for Iowa State. Again, everything was working for them first 2 sets. They were really getting Houston out of system, but the service error is costly in set 3. And another service error, that's 10 on the night for the Cyclones in terms of service errors. Tough serve, Jackson. Good cover from Georgiadis. Jackson roll shot from the back row. Toles insists it was touched. Houston might challenge this. Rare is asking Abby Jackson if they should challenge it. He will challenge this.
again, the whole Houston team is pretty adamant that that ball was touched. It's hard to see from here. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a replay on that, but it's a great pickup by Stone Street to get that ball up. Oh, I don't know. I am not sure if she touched that ball. Phyllis definitely was going for hands on that. You can see she's trying to swipe it.
At that angle, it looks like it hits Tolis last.
Yeah.
First Engelbrecht, then Tolis, and out.
The default, if you can't determine one way or the other, you always go to the team whose momentum has it. So it would be Houston because their momentum is coming across to the Cyclone side. See our referees taking their time on this one. Definitely a tough call.
Such a gritty match for both teams. Each team with 43 digs. And these first 4 sets would make Caitlin Olaniani proud. No touch, unsuccessful challenge for Houston. It's a point for Iowa State. Again, you only get 2 challenges. You only keep them if they're correct. So 1 challenge remaining for Houston. Might be more costly than that point itself, just the limitation of challenges for the rest of this match.
We'll see if Gonzalez can take advantage of that call.
Jackson from the back row.
Couple of great back row attacks right in a row, both from Jackson and from Sauer. Jonda having a lot of confidence setting that swing, and all of them going back towards one, going back deep towards the center.
Deep serve from Tolis. It's kind of all or nothing with Tolis, according to Coach Rare. She'll get a lot of aces, she'll get a lot of errors. Sometimes so those middles serving, you never really know what's going to happen. As you might know.
I was going to say, as a middle, my philosophy was always, if you can serve it hard enough, they can't hit it back at you, because I knew my defense wasn't very good. So.
Annie Hatch serves. Two block touches there for Kellen Moore.
Oh.
Off the block from Kellen Moore, and so many touches there from the Houston middle. And we'll see Kenna Sauer now catch her breath after this point. Maybe the backswing hand of Kellen Moore could have hit Sauer in the face.
Yeah, it looks like it might have caught her in the eye. Some crazy scramble plays from both sides. You see Duckworth taking out Brandt over on the Cyclone side, going after that ball. I see Duckworth and Brandt colliding.
Annie Cook back to serve. 18 assists, 7 digs, 1 ace for the senior setter. Off the block for Maya Duckworth.
Again, 2 outside heavy teams. We see that pass to attack transition again. All 4 outsides are effective at that from both teams. Having a lot of balls served at them from both sides. That pass to attack pattern has been effective on both sides.
Just out from Kenna Sauer. Another good serve. This feels like set 1 again for Iowa State with their serving. Good delivery there from Lily Wachholtz, the redshirt freshman from Minnesota.
We see Houston spreading their offense, which means they're moving Sauer over here to the right side.
That's good volleyball there. Long set from Annie Cook for Kenna Sauer.
Yeah, Annie Cook is definitely the star of that play. She's pushed all the way forward, sets her feet, chunks it all the way back there so Sauer can have that line shot.
And Banu is blocked, but a tooled point there for the Cougars.
I think that play sets up the story of this set for both teams. A little bit of off speed for the Cyclones, and they have a communication error and mismanage it. So they send an off speed back over to the Cougars side, and they're able to put it in system and take advantage and score.
19-12 Houston, hitting 312 here in set 4. And Kellen Morin transferred to Houston from Virginia Tech a couple years ago. Her dad, Michael, played football at Yale. Her mom, Kristen, played basketball at American University. And some of these numbers, very impressive. Kind of lived in the shadow last year of Rachel Tolis, but hitting .402, #1 in the Big 12. Top 30 in the country, 1.3 blocks per set. Been a defensive presence and emerging offensive weapon as well for Houston.
Yeah, you can see here with these stats exactly why Morin coming alive in the last 2 sets are why the Cougars have had some success in the last 2 sets versus the first half of the match. She's being efficient when she's getting set. She's taking good touches, allowing their defense to put this ball on target, to have that transition capability that they all know that they're able to have. She's been a huge impact in this match specifically and for the Cougars all year.
And the reduction in errors, amazing to see from Houston. They had 13 errors in the first 2 sets. They have 4 in the last 2 sets. When they don't err, they're a very, very good team.
Yeah, not erring is always a good plan. Volleyball can be your best friend and it can be your worst friend, because every time you make a mistake, you score a point for the other team. Cleaning up the errors, again, a huge factor is the serve receive. Being much more in control with that first contact has made a huge difference.
A point there, and nice pickup, Paula Kajszlak, the DS from Poland. We've seen her in limited spots tonight. She wears 21 for the Cardinal and Gold. And a substitution here late in set 4 to kind of mix things up defensively for the Cyclones. Jackson goes high hands. And there's another good play from the setter. Morgan Brandt has been dominant at the net tonight.
Yeah, you can see Morin saw it a little bit better than she has the last couple. Just a little bit too late, a little bit too much. Brandt being very successful at the net all night tonight.
Jackson challenging. Jackson, good angled swing. A dozen kills tonight for Abby Jackson.
Again, that goes into, she could just do it all. That transition, block transition to attack. Gets up, gets a touch, gets the dig, gets the set, takes the swing. She's doing it all.
16 kills for Sauer, 12 for Jackson. Sauer has a double-double, and there's an ace for Georgiadis. Went right down the line, decision time there. Faith Durandi in the match with that touch. Here she is passing. Up from Cook.
Crazy plays on both sides. Punching the ball over the net, taking one arm.
Oh, what a set that was from Annie Cook. Right on the net, and she put it in a sweet spot there for Rachel Tolis.
Yeah, again, scramble plays, going a little bit crazy. We got a free ball over the net. They pick up the dump, it's tight. She takes a big approach to get that one-hand set, and Tolis is ready. She's got that whole half the court to hit.
22-14 as Georgiana serves. Good dig from Georgiadis. And there's a block. Nayeli Gonzalez combining with Jordan Hawk.
Some great momentum plays from Gonzalez at really, really important pieces. Big blocks, big swings, right when her team needs a little bit more momentum.
Gonzalez, 12 kills, 15 digs, now 2 blocks. Already a double-double. And there's a block. Tolis with Mbanu.
Talk about a big momentum switcher. The middles for the Cougars have just absolutely come alive, both defensively and offensively in this set.
2 blocks tonight, most all-time in Houston history, 630 blocks for Rachel Tolis in her Houston career. Picked up by Sauer.
Another great out-of-system set from Georgiadis.
Another point for Houston, everything working for the Cougars. And it's set point here in set 4.
I don't know if we're slowing down on the Cyclone side or what, but Engelbrecht is just not there on time. Brandt is still pushing to her. They weren't quite ready for that quick transition play.
Sauer from the back row. Oh, good disguising there. You had Tolis with a dummy run, left it for Abby Jackson.
Yes, right over the top. The Cougars, when they're in system play with so much tempo, it's tough to tell where that ball's really gonna go, but they're both up and ready to go. Hey, this quick, you see Sauer falls down on the ground, and they're still able to dig around her and run this free ball at speed.
Houston ends set 4 on a 3-0 scoring run. They hit 293 to take set 4, 25-15. 2 sets apiece. We'll be back for the 5th set inside Fertitta Center. Serving. Houston has sorted that out. They've limited the errors. Carly Clinic, and they've fought back. It's now 2-2 going to the 5th.
Yeah, I think if you look at the numbers, the story of this match is all on how the Houston Cougars are going to come out. They had 13 errors in the first 2 sets and 5 in the last 2 sets. That's a huge difference, a big, big change for both teams. Honestly, Iowa State has stayed consistent. They have roughly the same amount of errors, same amount of kills, except for in that last set, the Houston defense just absolutely came alive, both on the front line with blocking and in the back row, keeping Iowa State down to only a few kills for the entire set that match. So it'll be interesting to see how the Cougars respond for this set. We talked to Coach Bear. He said one of their keys is to focus on us. And you can see when they focus on their own play, keep it clean, and continue to spread this ball around, the Houston Cougars just are dominant across all positions.
Houston led wire to wire in that 4th set. The only match that's had no lead changes, or only set that's had no lead changes. And as you know, Carly, starting a 5th is so important. If you fall behind, it's really tough to come from behind when you're playing to 15.
Fifth sets are so fun because as soon as you get a run one way or another at any phase in the game, it can completely change the look of the set. The game is not over until someone's won by 2 points, and I've seen these sets go further and further against 2 great teams like this. So it'll be interesting to see how both teams respond.
And a good play from the right side, a good start for Iowa State. And Lily Wachholtz with her 9th kill.
She's adjusted her shot as this match has gone on to this sharp cross that the setters from Houston have not quite been able to pick up yet.
She's had a good serve all night. Back to Jackson, who found the seam in the back row.
Again, I think the money in that play is the pass. It's a perfect pass right to the center. She's got 3 offensive options, picks Jackson, and Jackson just absolutely capitalizes.
14 kills on 35 swings. Jackson's hitting 314. She goes back to serve. Slide play off the high hands. Good set there from Yonda. She stayed out of the net for Rachel Tolis.
As a great block touch by Sauer, and Tolis slowing Hop down, who to this point has pretty much been unstoppable. It slows that ball down, puts them on target, and allows Tolis to have a great swing on that transition.
8 kills, 2 blocks for Rachel Tolis. Really good serve for Jackson. It's an ace.
That's a little more like what we're used to seeing from Jackson behind the service line. She struggled a little bit this match to find her rhythm, but that ball is low and flat and dying right in that seam.
3 straight points for Houston.
Oh, I jinxed her. That was my fault. I'm sorry. I'll take that. Put that stat on my stat line.
3-2 here, 5th set. As Maya Duckworth goes back to serve. Dad was a college football coach. Coach's kid. Coaches love student athletes who have coaches as parents. They get it. Roll shot from the back row, and Duckworth picks it up. And through the block from Gonzalez. Credit to Duckworth for keeping that off the floor to set up her teammate Gonzalez.
Yeah, not only keeping it off the floor, digging that ball high to the middle of the court to give your team a chance. Just falling on the ground with one arm isn't good enough, but if you're a player like Duckworth who can have that control, you set your team up for success.
Off the tape, Georgiadis keeps it off the floor.
Another great dig from Duckworth.
Just out. Duckworth playing back in her home state. No doubt a lot of friends and family. There's a good amount of Iowa State fans in attendance.
Yeah, quite a few Texans on this Iowa State team, and they've road tripped a little from Austin down to Houston.
Duckworth from Hirsch, which is northeast of Fort Worth, just north of Arlington. Roll shot. We haven't seen that too often tonight, but very effective there from Nayeli Gonzalez for her 14th kill.
Yeah, the Cougars were definitely on their heels, not ready for that ball. She does a great job still winding up and showing a swing and then slowing her arm down at the last second. Not making it so obvious that she's going short.
Addie Heidemann in for the first time tonight for that serve. Into the net from Gonzalez. Heidemann goes back to the bench, along with Jordan Hop.
You can see Iowa State's out of system there, which means the Cougar block can just stack up on that outside.
Henny Cook back to serve. She's had a very good serve this evening. 5-4 Houston in the 5th. Oh, there's another good play for Morgan Brandt. In a critical spot, she goes to the dump for 5-5 in the 5th.
She's been essential for the Cyclones defense. Or offense, excuse me. She's just made plays at the right time, been aggressive at the right time, and been very effective.
And then the bugaboo, these last 3 sets, the service line, another error for Iowa State. That was Brand after her dump. And it's Sauer back to serve for Houston.
Keeping this match back and forth so far.
Jackson for Houston.
Another great block, slow down by Mbanu and Morin. That ball's so high, almost like a free ball. They're able to set up and basically set whoever they want. They're out of system. Georgiadis is setting, so it's pretty predictable where it's going to go to. But Jackson gets up, and her arm is just so fast. She finds that seam so quickly.
7-5 Houston here in the 5th. Out of the timeout, a point for Iowa State, served by Nile Gonzalez, and an error from Houston, and we're tied at 6.
Gonzalez going after this stack of players over here in rotation 2. We'll see her do it again.
Roll shot in Banu. Blocked there, and Banu with Kellen Moore, and they turn away Maya Duckworth.
Banu and Morin have gotten some great block touches. They're in the right spot, and finally this one they get it to go down.
Okay, Georgiadis back to serve. Block touch, Tolis. Tip from Jackson. Kenna Sauer from the back row.
I love that choice by Annie Cook. There's a lot of balls. We've seen a lot of balls the last couple of sets that are all happening within like 5 feet of the net, right? The touch is tight, so they're blocking, there's tipping, they're trying to take care of it. Cook, on another play where there's a lot of balls tight to the net, she decides to set back row, give some more space, and Sauer has so much room on that net to be able to swing. We've seen both Sauer and Jackson go after zone 1, which is back where the setter stands deep on the back row attack, and the Cyclones just have not been able to stop it.
Abby Jackson was with the previous coaching staff, and she's turned herself into one of the best players to ever put on a Houston volleyball uniform. This is current ranks among Division I players, most attacks in the country in her 5-year career, top 4 total kills, number 6 in aces, including one more tonight, and top 35 in sets played. Had a chance to talk with her high school coach, Charles Wright Academy. He said she did it all in high school. She would set, excellent passer. And as Coach Rares talked about with Abby Jackson, he told her early in her career, maybe 4 years ago, you're one of the best volleyball players I've ever coached. You're one of the worst servers. And she really took that to heart, reinvented her serve, and now you see the numbers. Top 10 in the country, career aces. And her serve is now a weapon when it was a real problem for her previously in her Houston career.
Yeah, you can see just how steady and how vital she is to this Houston Cougars team. She was one of the players, honestly, that struggled in the first 2 sets. Her serve receive has been not what it normally is this match, which normally it's very good, so that's not necessarily saying a lot. But even when she was struggling, even when her hitting percentage was not very high in the first 2 sets, Coach has so much faith in her. He's leaving her on the court because he knows how steady she can be, and she's proven that by digging herself out of where she was in the first couple of sets and coming and being a huge factor to win this match.
8-7 Houston. Georgiadis serves. Deep flow. And Tolis is blocked.
Yeah, that set is a little bit low. Kind of took away the options for Tolis to be able to swing.
Solo block there, Alexis Engelbrecht. Started the season as a third middle. An injury opened the door for Alexis, and she's become the starter. Jackson off the hands. Up from Duckworth. Nice pickup there from Stone Street. And a point for Iowa State. They repel attack after attack. And now they have a 9-8 lead here in the 5th.
That series was a lot of grit from Iowa State. They're just sending free ball after free ball over the net, which means Houston is attacking and attacking and attacking. They're able to wear them down and capitalize on a tired Houston Cougars team after a long rally.
Stone Street serves. And Banu is blocked. Back-to-back points. It's Maya Duckworth back in her home state.
There's that competitive fire coming out that we talked about. She's got so much energy. That's a big momentum swing for the Cyclones, big momentum play, and you can see Coach Reyes trying to slow it down a little bit with the timeout here.
Houston did not make many errors in the 3rd or 4th. They've now made 4 attacking errors in set 5. Houston hitting -062, and a 3-0 scoring run. You talked about the runs earlier. It seemed like Houston had the momentum up 8-7. You had the changeover, and then just, I think, a little sloppy from Houston. They had some moments there where free balls were sent over Iowa State, and Houston never capitalized.
Yeah, I think Iowa State is sloppy too. Not necessarily sloppy making errors, but they're doing a lot of hard work to just get the ball over the net. There's not necessarily a ton of really big swings coming at Houston, anything crazy from a play perspective coming at Houston. The Cyclones are just not letting the ball hit the floor, and the Cougars so far in this set have kind of let the pressure take it on a little bit.
They are scrambling. Iowa State with 58 digs, Houston with 51. Nayeli Gonzalez, 6th rotation outside. A true freshman has 17 digs. The libero Brooke Stone Street has 15. Amaya Duckworth with 11. 3 players, double-digit digs for Christy Johnson Lynch's Iowa State Cyclones.
Yeah, just absolutely. Again, the Cyclones are doing whatever it takes to keep the ball off the floor and putting all of the pressure on the Cougars.
Stone Street back to serve. Roll shot from Jackson. Stone Street picks it up. Up from Kenna Sauer. Another roll shot, Jackson. Jackson through the block. Stone Street another dig. Jackson's blocked. Multiple block touches before that block. And the block is back for Iowa State. Jordan Hopp there combines with the Lily Walcots.
Yeah, I mean, again, we talked about in the first 2 sets, the Cougars were very one-dimensional, and in that series right there, Jackson got set 3 or 4 times in a row, and that gave the Cyclone block a chance again, like you said, get a touch, get a touch, get a touch, and finally get that block.
Stone Street serves. Huge block there from Rachel Tolis and then Mbanu.
It's a critical momentum swing for the Cougars right there. They needed that play to find a little bit more momentum after the Cyclones have gone on a pretty great run.
Yonda back to serve. 11-9 Iowa State in the 5th. A tool there for Lily Walcolts. Iowa State can sense it now, leading 12-9 in the 5th.
Great hustle play from Jonda.
And there's a dump again. Morgan Brand has been so good tonight. At 7 kills for the setter for Iowa State. And Houston uses its final timeout.
And that dump was cold. Jonda just took a complete victory lap to try and get that ball up. Brandt recognizes it and throws it right back in front of her after she's finally gotten to base.
Iowa State at 13-9, playing its 4th straight ranked opponent. They've been building towards this match, and they'll host UCF next Wednesday. Cincinnati at Iowa State. The entire league going through a stretch of 4 matches in 10 days. Regular season ends just after Thanksgiving. You think about 5-setters recently. Baylor led TCU 13-10 last weekend in the 5th. TCU came back to win the 5th. Houston would hope to channel something similar tonight. Houston goes to Baylor on Wednesday. Senior day on the following Saturday against Kansas State. 5 fifth-year seniors will be honored after the match. They don't want the emotions of senior day before they compete.
I think a lot of emotions running high in this match here. In this set, Cyclones have been able to channel all that energy into some consistency and just grit on defense. And the Cougars haven't quite been able to find their rhythm.
Lily Wachholtz back to serve. 13-9, Iowa State in the 5th. Jackson off the hands.
There you go, we say it again and again, that pass to attack from their outsides. If we can get a good pass, the Cougars are unstoppable in serve receive.
Jackson back to serve at 13-10. Tough serve. Touch from Stone Street. Kennesawer off the hands. Back-to-back tools. And the Cougars have pulled within 2.
All night, the Cougars have come out of timeouts with fire. I don't know what Coach Rare is saying in those timeouts, but they come out screaming and yelling and taking big swings.
Well, there's the fatigue factor on display. Houston hasn't played 5 sets in a long time, all the way back to the Kansas match over 6 weeks ago. Iowa State more built for this recently, but you talk to the coaches, they're exhausted. The players are exhausted with school and travel and the Big 12. So I think some of the energy must come from the bench and their teammates, because the players on the court are just hands on hips, breathing hard.
Yeah, this time of year is the most fun and the most exhausting for volleyball players. From a school perspective, they are students, and so this is when finals are due, final projects are happening, they're studying for final tests, there's stress emotionally and mentally there. They're playing top-ranked teams over and over and over again, trying to put themselves in a position where they're going to be able to be in a great spot for the postseason tournament. So there's a lot of mental fatigue there. And truly, it's the teams that come together and find a way to find the rhythm are the ones that win. Every single team right now is tired. So being tired is not an excuse, right? Because everyone has played just as much. Everyone is just as stressed at school. Everyone's just as stressed as the end of the year. It's a matter of, okay, who's going to come together? Who has the mental toughness to be able to still execute and execute cleanly and efficiently when you're exhausted? It's not if you're exhausted. At this point, it's when.
Back-to-back points for Houston. Kills from Sauer and Jackson. Jackson back to serve after the timeout. Up from Yonda. Slide play, it was touched. And it's match point for Iowa State at 14-11.
It's a great swing from Hop. The set is kind of low and outside. She's underneath it, sees the blocker's hands, and just finds a way to get on top of Sauer and hit that ball out of bounds.
Visualization there from Aya Duckworth. Match point. I think she may have something from the bench, or did she step on the line?
Yes, it looks like she had, for all of that visualization, her toes just crossed that line. It's a good call from the line judge. It's not a call that you see a lot. A big momentum killer for the Cyclones and a huge opportunity for the Cougars.
Match point, Iowa State. Picked up by Tolis. Good swing from Katie Corelli. Houston scrambling, and she finds the back corner.
Very smart play from Sauer. She sees John is not going to be able to get to that ball. Puts a good out-of-system ball up for Corelli to take a swing.
Iowa State's going to challenge this, it looks like. Looks like they're saying that Houston was into the nets.
So again, we're kind of at a funky angle. It's hard for us to see.
No one in the net on the Houston side.
Yeah, I don't know if they're challenging. They're able to in the net. They're able to challenge the entire series. So from when that ball is served to when that ball ends. So it may be at a different time that we just didn't see. And think about it. Both benches have people eyeballing every single part of the play. Oh, maybe she turned around. It looks like it moved a little bit, but.
And you also could be savvy. They've not lost a challenge, so it's kind of like a free timeout. If you lose the challenge, it's a long timeout at 14-13.
Yeah, not a bad idea for the Cyclones to try and ice the server over here. Whether or not they make the call. At this point, it's so late in the match that it doesn't really matter if they keep the challenge or not.
It's Houston's point, unsuccessful challenge. Richard Blue looking at the monitor, making the call. Tolis back to serve at 14-13. Iowa State match point in the fifth. Off the tape. Up from Jackson. Sauer to the back corner. Perfect placement from Kenneth Sauer. And Houston has scored 3 straight points.
It's interesting. Hop looks like she took something off of that slide. She's been taking big swings down the line off the tool. That ball goes straight to the middle of the court. And then Sauer, like I said before, she's so fun to watch. That set is probably 6 feet off the net. It's not a perfect set, and she still finds a way to take a rip. See, it's back behind her, and she still finds a way to take a rip and shoot it down that line.
What a match we've had inside Fertitta Center. First meeting since 1983 between these rivals. Caitlin Olaniani, center of your screen with the red jacket. Two-time All-American, two-time Big 12 Libero of the Year. Facing her former team, her alma mater for the first time. Facing the coach that brought her to Iowa State for the first time.
Such a great relationship. The world of volleyball is so small. At this point, you get to a level where you're playing this high. You have players like Nolaniani, who has played at the top of her level. The number of people who've played that well and coached this well is pretty small. And so it's such a fun environment. It's cool to see. I mean, both coaches come out, and frankly, a great game for us tonight, back and forth. There's nothing better than 14-14 in the fifth set.
It was 13-9 Iowa State. Houston has scored 4 of the last 5 points. Houston's out of timeouts. Iowa State is also out of timeout. So that challenge kind of saved them a timeout they used right there. And now Tolis goes back to serve at 14 in the fifth. And it's just out. Her previous serve hit the tape. That one's out. And now another match point for Iowa State. as Georgiadis returns. And into the match to serve on match point, Addie Heidemann, the junior out of Diller, Nebraska. Deep float to Sauer. Sauer, it was not touched, and Iowa State wins it. They stave off the reverse sweep. I think Houston will challenge this. They might as well to see if it was touched, but Iowa State celebrating as if they have won. At 14-14,
Houston is challenging
a service error just out on the sideline. And then Kenna Sauer, in her 50th swing of the night, may have tried to go high hands, but didn't hit a hand, it seemed like.
Yeah, I think at this point, coach has to challenge, right? I mean, it's at the end. If it's close enough, you have to give yourself a chance. Again, we don't have a great view of the net at this point, so it's hard for us to see, but a ball, again, with that pass to attack, she's taken so many swings tonight. I think regardless of the outcome here, she can be proud of what she's produced tonight, hitting 260 on 50 swings. That's a huge load for anyone to take. Plus, they picked on her in the serve receive, both her and Jackson. You see a replay now. I'm not sure if I see a touch there. That set was definitely a little bit low, which means she was kind of getting behind it rather than on top of it.
Maya Duckworth having some fun as the call comes. It is a point, and Iowa State, and another 5-set thriller comes to Fertitta Center. They win the first 2 sets, they drop the next 2, and they win the 5th, 16-14. This was a great match. Fun to be on the call with you, Carly.
Yeah, it's a great game. Iowa State came out with a balanced offense, just like Coach Johnson Lynch said that they needed to have, and they played through the end of the match with a ton of grit, just absolutely keeping the ball off the net.
And now let's go down to the court. The Christophersons with Christy Johnson Lynch.
Double-double for Gonzalez tonight. What stuck out to you about her game?
She was really resilient. You know, she started a little off and a little cold, and I thought she just hung in there, and as the match wore on, she was huge for us, had a bunch of huge kills there at the end. So she showed a lot of perseverance and resilience tonight.
5 tough matches, but team never gave up. Can you tell me a little bit about your team's defense?
Yeah, you know, it's been a focus for us the last few weeks. We have not been pleased early season with our block and D, and so it's been a huge focus of practice, and it's really starting to come around. I feel like we're starting to look like Iowa State volleyball, playing some great D.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Abby. And thank you to Christy Johnson Lynch for her time. Your final thoughts on this 5-setter we just witnessed?
I think, again, just Coach said it all. Their defense really stuck out, especially in the last phase of this match. They just absolutely put their foot down and said the ball is not going to hit the floor, and put a lot of pressure on the Cougars because of it. They found that balanced offense. They spread this ball around. They had 3 players with over 30 attacks and a second with 25. When you have 4 players attacking at that level and all attacking at a high level as well, it's pretty hard to stop.
Iowa State gets a win in Houston. A really good volleyball match here inside Fertitta Center. For Carly Klenick, Abby Christopherson, and our entire production crew, I'm Matt Peterson saying so long from Fertitta Center. Iowa State wins 3-2. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN.